They got it because they was copying a part of the Jews that went bad, taking Egyptian texts and making them historical. You see what I'm saying? Things here. And let me go into some things here and try to understand some stuff. So Rome basically took all these ancient texts and historicalized them and made them history. They got it because they was copying a part of the Jews that went bad, taking Egyptian texts and making them historical. You see what I'm saying? Making them historical. A lot of that stuff in the Bible and even in the Torah did not happen. It was metaphysical, and a lot of it, if it was supposed to happen on the earth, it's supposed to happen now. You see what I'm saying? Y'all getting me here? This is very important stuff because you got to understand some stuff, because I'm explaining something to you. Let me explain something to you about Adalabra. Yeah, you can cut the light on. Let me explain something to you about Adalabra. Y'all all right? Because you got to get this. Because what he did was, let me get a glossary here. So now what they do now, they put out the books now, but they parallel with them. They parallel them with Christian things and saying that they went hand in hand, and one was an extension of the other. That's a lie. That's a lie. Let me explain. Adalabra is the origins of the name is uncertain. One of the most common names of Gnostic mythology. Adalabra is a god who rules the material world. So, Adalabra not only was ruling the material world, but how he kept throwing us off. He said, well, listen, in order for me to get these particular gods to keep them going within, I have to create passions. So he created what you call beauty. And in beauty, all the creation of jewelry, all the creation of things, material things that keep you from going. You see, before then, we used to understand that we were gods, and we were just like any other thing on the earth. We could sustain ourselves and go to the highest level of spirituality because we understood that we were gods, or the knowledge of self. So what he did to throw us off, they created all kinds of material things. And so that's why you didn't see as much material things in the ancient world. They didn't need those things because they were on a higher vibration. Now what he did was, after Adalabra's last thing was when he got the Romans and started killing people, Adalabra knew hell. He said, I got these white people who would control the earth now, because the black people used to control the earth, but they were spiritual beings. But the white people who can control the earth now, I can directly send my evil archons. So each one of these 7 planetary archons, they created other spirits, counterfeit spirits. And those are the ones that's inside of this particular beast. So as a result of them being in this particular beast, they can control the world. And basically, what does he do? The white man controls the world by making the material beautiful. He's 100% materialistic. So, as a result, for the last 1,000 years, well, we can't say 1,000 years because Greece and Rome was built by black people and it was all spiritual purposes. But let's say from down Europe on up, so we'll basically say that his height of his beauty, we could say the last 700-800 years. And this is the magnitude of it, America, which is the home of commercialism. The white man's goal is to create beautiful and create a system that would make the earth look like heaven to trap you in it. That's why now we can't think of but one thing: getting more riches. You see what I'm saying? I don't cut this all right. Getting more riches. So I don't tell you to not make no money. I just tell you to make money to pay rent, pay lights, pay water, and keep some gas or whatever for transportation so you can get to the job, to pay rent, to pay light or water. But any other shit, you see what I'm saying? You see? So when I beg for money to pay my rent and stuff, you see what I'm saying? Which I don't think I'm going to make it. But anyway, what I'm saying is, we talking about the bare necessities. So he created beauty and passion to control people. You understand what I'm saying? But he's arrogant. He's so arrogant and so now, when he created the white man, in actuality, the white man, you say, well, how does this God function? You just look at the white man and see how the white man functions, and you can understand how this God functions. He's a jealous God. He's a vengeful and a wrath and brimstone, a killer God. You understand what I'm saying? And everything that functions, that holds this society. So when the white man writes on his dollar bill, "In God we trust," he's talking about his God. He actually has a real God. Now, this is this. Now, we got to stop for a minute because I want you to think about what I'm saying here. This God came in and this God created. He took all around the world. He took what is called the esoteric scriptures is saying that you are God and you belong to the host of heavens or the host of stars of heaven, and we are all one. And which scriptures, and he took the same scripture. Now what he would do is he would take the same scriptures and he would take the same scriptures and he would take the esoteric scriptures and make them exoteric where you worship him. In the Gnostic scriptures, the real scriptures, they say that this God made a covenant with Abraham, this God Yahweh. And he made a covenant with Abraham and promised this little group of whatever that he would save them and everybody else would go to hell or whatever type thing, if they can somehow make the scriptures as if they got to abide by laws, obey laws and all this particular stuff. You understand what I'm saying? To hold us down and hold us down in humanity. So now what I'm trying to say is this too. Then in 1945, they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and all that. They went into Egypt and they dug up the original scripts. That means you got the scripts of the first 4 Gospels that the Romans and all the Christians are saying that was taught. That all the Christians that were saying that was taught when Jesus walked the earth 2,000 years ago. You see what I'm saying? When Jesus walked the earth 2,000 years ago. And in 1945, they dug up some scriptures in Egypt that talks about the same damn sayings, and it shows that one saying that was supposed to be a person of 2,000 years ago came from an older saying of the Gnostic scripts that came out of the Hermetic scripts that came out of Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? And the other one was all fake, and they suppressed the damn thing up until 1977. Now, in this book, The Secret Books of the Egyptian Gnostics by Jean Duress, is a real good one. It was 14, it might be 15 now. And it deals with this, and it goes into Adar LeBrock on page 27 up in here. And not only that, he got 7 archangels that created, he got a whole host of angels now. So now, with black people recently, you started having these walk-ins. Now this is the most interesting thing, because I went to Philadelphia 2 weeks ago, or about a month ago, and everywhere I go, if the brother's in the consciousness, they walk into the sister and she starts going crazy. And if the sister's in consciousness, they walk into the brother and he starts going crazy. They always start opposing which one if you and your mate didn't meet and is into this thing at the same time. It's very rare that you get two people that's in a household that's in the same thing. Although you do have a lot of them, but mainly what you will have is recently, since 1990 on up, because this knowledge has started coming, you started having these walk-ins. And it's funny, when I went there, the people were so concerned because they was going crazy. And a lot of the things is this. This Adar LeBrock, who is a jealous God, sits over religiosity. And he is the person that sits over these churches. So now when you go in and start dancing and singing and doing all this kind of stuff here, you open up that, and his evil demiurge is the one that's possessing them, because God damn it, if you ever see some holy sanctified people, anybody in the church, you're talking about irrationale. You understand what I'm saying? And I know this is for a fact. Not loving and all this, but see, the reason why I know this, I'm doing a case study. I got an aunt, ultimate intellectual, would bear witness to all of this and everything a few years ago. A few years ago, when I came home, I remember when Farrakhan first started back. Remember when he first started up in there? I came home pumping this stuff. They was into it. Oh man, look at this. I told him this was before the book, because the book was out of print for a while. Destruction of Black Civilization was out of print in the early 80s, and it came back out in the late 80s. We was trying to get that book. He said, God, she said, I'm going to the Library of Congress and try to Xerox a copy. That's how much she in to the stuff. In 92 or 93, she came and went and somehow got into church, and all of a sudden, this person is a whole other person. Irrational, don't want to hear nothing, scared, get quiet, just crazy. You see what I'm saying? Just crazy. You see what I'm saying? And this is what they talk about, like you say, the Ruth Montgomery thing, talking about strangers among us. There is an energy. And that energy, different energy, is controlled by certain people. This particular God is over Christianity. Well, hell, you know it's got to be a God of confusion. Hell, they got damn 12,000 different cults or sects in one so-called order, one so-called religion alone. God, you know what I'm saying? So now the deal is, and you can tell that he's mostly in Christianity because they say that everybody else's religion is messed up. You see what I'm saying? That decay is good when you decay.